Desert Island Discs.
Welcome to this very chatty edition of Desert Island Discs, and I can tell you without a fear of contradiction that we're going to have a good laugh. And yes, it gets lighter and even better as we get down to the close of the year. On the program today, we have a very interesting character. Her name is Sharon. And I've used the word character deliberately because, again, you will agree with me by the time we're done with this conversation that she's quite a character. I asked her during our preps, and Sharon, you bear me witness. How would I describe a character like you in one sentence? And you gave me that look. I've never seen you look at anyone or anything like that. Good evening. Welcome to the program, Sharon.
Thank you very much, Simon. It's exciting to be here on the show today with you. It's an honor. You know, we've come a long way.
I know.
Yes, so for me to be here is exciting.
The Sharon that I know is not the Sharon that there is today. I mean, come on, I'm holding a book right in my hands, authored by you, Sharon, Tumusiime. And it's a beautiful book, The Magnificent Seven. It's a story of a 10-year-old girl's tour of the 7 hills of Kampala. Now, if you're a parent like Sharon and I, how much of this beautiful city do your children or does your child know? Sharon couldn't answer that question in quite the affirmative. And that was the challenge that brought her to writing this book. Again, along the way, she'll tell us how she's transited from the chatty, obstinate little girl that I know to the author, mother, and everything in between. But you still haven't answered my question, Sharon.
Okay, thank you very much, Simon. How would I describe myself? Let's see. I am a businesswoman. I would start with that.
And I'm
Let
sure
me use the easy ones.
Because business, you sell everything.
And you've been my client of most of my products, yes?
She was selling Fujis in Iceland. She's doing very well.
So I'm a businesswoman. I am a mother. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. I'm a child of God, the beloved one, the one the Lord loves, the one who He made with so much potential and the ability to do so many other things.
The 41.999 million of us, you think we are one?
I don't know. You asked me to describe myself. I'm describing myself. That's what I feel about myself.
Wow,
yes.
I love that description.
Yes.
The beloved child of God.
The beloved child of God, the one who the Lord loves.
Sharon, from the things you do and the amount of energy that you exude, one gets a temptation to believe that you don't only have 24 hours of an ordinary day.
We all have 24 hours. It's
Well,
true.
not you.
It's true. It's true.
Even you.
It's true. We all have 24 hours, and so do I. But like I was saying, I do many things, like you said, Ebly. I'm a businesswoman. I'm a mentor. I'm now an author. Can you imagine? I think when you heard about it,
Danielle
Simon,
still
you said
is
that
really
this
shaking
is
wherever she
not
is.
True.
The likes of Sydney Sheridan, wherever they are. Now Sharon Tumusiime joined the fray.
Yes.
Wow. And how do you manage balancing up all these so many things within the space of the 24 hours all of us have, and yet we even barely have enough time to do the one thing that we do?
Well, I learned about scheduling. It's something called a schedule. So we all have the same hours. Like how does everyone do the things that they do? Most of them rely on a schedule, I would like to believe.
And
for me,
the only thing that's scheduled in my life is this program. Sunday 7 to 8. Everything else is random.
I'm sure you have a team that is scheduling somewhere. So it makes it look like you're not doing it, but I'm sure there's a team somewhere that's scheduling. But it's a lot of it is planning your hours, when you're going to do what. But because I'm a businesswoman, self-employed, you get to manage your own time, as opposed to other people that might not have that luxury, where someone decides what you're going to do between 8 and 5, depending on what you do. So I have that luxury of being a business owner that can plan their time and be able to fix in space to do several other things.
Or drop off other things if you wish.
That too, yes. So that's how I manage. That's how I manage to balance. But I schedule everything. There's a time I got so busy, I even had to schedule time with my friends, time with my children. It had to come into a schedule. Yes, you have to be intentional. It's all about, I think, being intentional about what you're doing.
We're glad that at least you managed to schedule us in your very busy schedule, and here we are having this conversation. I only hope that we'll take this on to the end. I don't want you to wake up right in the middle of our conversation. And I'm like, big deal. I have to go and crack this one.
Yes.
And I'm out, Simon.
No, this is all for the show.
Very good.
We scheduled it.
So relax, guys. You're not about to just step off and go click the next big deal. Yes. This book is really what has fascinated all of us. I mean, just from the whole challenge of it, that many children live in this beautiful city, but they commute in like a linear motion. Home, school, and maybe if they are lucky, once a week, church, and yes, maybe once a week, that place where they go swimming. And that's just about it. And they grow into adults, and they have no idea how to even get around a city like this. What was your experience? That's before preempting what's in this book.
So my experience actually, I don't know if you went to the same schools that I went to. We used to do a lot of tours when we were in school. There were many tours. We were many, but somehow the schools found time to make sure that we toured. So that was my experience of touring.
You
But
went to factories,
we went to factories, we went to the fire station. We had all these opportunities to do all these things. So for me, that's what I remember growing up. That's what school was all about. You would study something and tour and see what you have studied.
Exactly.
So the experience now is that many people, yes, school tours still happen, but many people study and don't get to experience. And one of the things that we are not doing is to tour our city.
Let's get real. I mean, the tours are still there, except this time around, you're hit with airways bills as opposed to squashing yourselves, 40 of you in a 17-seater taxi to go to Ginger, for example. Now kids are being flown to different places, and yet the foundation is always very important, knowing your city, your backyard.
Yes. I was coming to just that many of the tours that we are doing are not getting down to the city. We are not experiencing the city. A lot of what our children see is probably when they just drive through, getting dropped off at school, or drive through to go to visit an aunt. But even the parents are busy. They don't have time to sit. I don't know, Simon, for example, how many times have you sat in your car and told them, you know what, that is the clock tower. That right there is the Independence Monument. I don't think, yet you've passed it many times with your children, right? Exactly. Yes, but you never do something like that. So your children drive through the city, but you probably cannot name the 7 hills.
And when they are in the back seat on iPads and checking out, who knows what's on their screen.
That too, yes.
So out of that, you went out and produced this, The Magnificent Seven, which is also a magnificent book. I've read through it very quickly, and it's an easy read, written in is it called first person? Because this is the story of a 10-year-old
girl,
explaining her adventure and all that. A story that many of you could do. In fact, doesn't have to have a 40-year-old's adventure around this city. The only problem is that we may end up in pubs and other not very interesting places to look at. Getting down to you, business person, mother, friend, now author. That alone is intriguing in its own sense. But now getting to know Sharon. Who are you? Where were you born? When were you born? Whom were you born? We start from there.
Okay. I was born in Kampala City, this very one that I write about in this book.
that you love to tour.
Yes, the one that I love to tour and talk about. I was born to Mr. Daniel and Jairus in Sheka. Yes. And I was born in Mengo Hospital.
Wow.
Yes.
In the city.
Mengo Hospital.
You never left.
I never left that city, yes. And we talk about Mengo in the book, you know. So we talk about the hills, yes. So in Mengo Hospital. I have 3 siblings. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister.
Wow,
yes.
Incredible. Just take us back to that household where you were born in the city, and just, paint for us, the best of your recollection, what your childhood was like.
My childhood was so much fun. We grew up in Bugolobi Flats, the one that I can remember. I know when I was born, we weren't living there, but when I started to get myself together and understand, we were in Bugolobi Flats.
Beautiful Bugolobi Flats.
Yes, the beautiful Bugolobi Flats. It's not what it is these days.
No.
These guys don't know the flat
They
life.
have demarcated every single place.
Everyone is alone. Those days it was one large flat.
Exactly.
We would go to each and every flat and play.
Was it happening for you girls as well? I mean, for me.
We would play from morning to evening. Like when the sun goes out, your parents have breakfast and they leave, time for action.
And then
you're sensing
when they're about to come.
You just get back in. So we would play from morning to evening. And some of those friendships are still there. What kind of games?
Climbing mango trees.
Mango trees.
Sliding down.
Kwepena. People call it gogolo, but us we used to call it sliding. You know, when you get those, the boxes and then you slide down. They were really dangerous, half of the games. And then there was a side that was a barracks. Part of it used to be army barracks. So there were these old tanks. So we would go in there and pretend like we're at war. It was so, and then we'd have challenges, we'd compete.
Between the different blocks.
Yes, like football or Kwepena. It was usually a Kwepena challenge.
Okay, for you.
Yes, and then if you came to our flat and you beat us, then we would have to stone you. So if you want anyone on their ground, you better flee. So when you see those footballers being rowdy in Europe, don't judge them. It happened
everywhere.
Everywhere it happens. When you lose, you get rowdy. So it was so much fun.
What a childhood.
Yeah.
You must look back with nostalgia the way our children are actually being raised in the confined spaces in which we call
I feel
home.
sorry for them. Yeah. They haven't done life like we have.
Along the way, we'll have to, of course, discuss how maybe we can widen the space for them in
Yes.
this world that has become so different
Yeah.
from the one we were raised in. On the program, we play music, Sharon.
Yes.
So let's get to know what your music sounds like.
My music.
Mhm.
Okay, I would like to start by a song that I've really enjoyed this year. It's called Everything. It's by West African Timmy something. It's called Everything. It's a Christian song, and it talks about how everything is going to work out for you somehow. Remember how I said I'm a child of God?
That's a high level of optimism.
Yes.
Somehow
Everything will
is
work
going to
out because there is someone that is making sure, that wants to see things work out for you. That's his dream for all of us, to make sure that we live to our fullest potential.
Wow.
That's what he envisioned for us. He did not create us to live a small life. He went and said, dominate the world. What does that mean? It means
Blast.
Exactly.
The
I
positive
don't know.
way.
I don't know about blasting, but yes. So that means that everything that he's doing is to make sure that it all works out for you. There will be challenges, but at the end of the day, it shall all work out for you.
You just heard her, exceptionally optimistic of Sharon, and she follows that with a beautiful choice of a song. Let's go down into it. A beautiful way to start our Sunday evening conversation. When we return, it's more about Sharon's life story.
Desert Island Discs.
Everything you put your hand go walk. Your name go open doors. You self go be a boss. Amen.
Welcome back. It's Sharon Tumusiime, an author, businesswoman, mother, everything in between that is sharing with us her life story. So Sharon, you are raised in these incredible Bugolobi flats, playing as your main, what can I say, main, what I've said, income generating activity, but then I just realized that that's what you did for a living as a child growing up. So what schools did you attend?
I went to Nakasero Primary School
You
for
were
7 years.
commuting from Bugolobi.
Bugolobi to
That must
Nakasero.
have been a good, tour from there in taxi and all that.
Yes, yes. It was. It wasn't. Sometimes we'd use a taxi. Sometimes we were lucky. My dad had a car, so he would drop us off. But then again, like because we were in the flats, there were so many people that were going to the same
direction,
schools. Remember,
yeah.
there were not that many schools. So you were either in Nakasero, Kitante, Buganda Road, Kampala Parents. So you would hike a ride with
You just
the
mentioned
neighbor.
all the schools you know, and mine is not among them. So
I don't know if you were around. My bad. Which one did
Woe
you go
out to
to?
you who didn't go to the schools that Sharon just mentioned. Well, for us, down just next to you in St. Christophe Gorovi is where we go.
Those people had to do a long commute.
I know. You are talking about the long commutes and not the guys who are just
Not the guys who
lived
walked.
in the backyard of the
Yes.
school.
But we always envied those guys because we had to wake up early to get to school. So we always thought, St. Kizito, these guys wake up maybe 10 to.
And just walk.
and
You
just-
hear the bell from
Yes,
home.
and you rush
You have
in.
no idea how we envied you on the other side.
Oh,
I
really?
mean, you were in a taxi every day, at least a car.
Yeah.
I mean, we would go a time without being in a car. Because where were you going? Church was nearby.
Nearby, I know.
School, market near. If you felt sick, the hospital is here. So we were just as good as
Imagine.
village
So it's
kids.
very true. You're always admiring people on the other side, and yet you don't know how
The
good you
grass
have it.
is always
Yes,
green.
It's always. It's true. They didn't lie. It's always green on the other side.
Talking about green, now I remember the green checkered, green and white.
Yes.
Kapere uniform
Kapere, as we used to
of-
call it. And
of
people would
Nakasero.
make fun of our school and call it Kasero, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
But
you
it
had,
didn't put us down.
and it had, I think, short-sleeved. I mean, your uniform was like the jersey of Cameroon.
No, it was no, it wasn't, Simon. It was
Was
short
sleeveless?
sleeved. It wasn't sleeveless.
It wasn't
It was
sleeveless.
short sleeved.
Why do I feeling it was sleeveless?
Yes, the girls' uniform was
Yeah,
sleeveless.
the girl's uniform was sleeveless. I remember that at least.
But well, we're in Africa. That's the best uniform for a girl or a child.
How are we going to have this conversation around the best uniform, Sharon? Please.
That's how much I loved my school.
I know
I'll
you're
fight
willing
for
to
it.
go
Yes,
down the road.
Yes,
fighting
for it. It was a beautiful place. Yes.
So as you went through school and then went through all this, life as it were, did you have an inclination of what you wanted to end up being? And if so, is this what you dreamt of then to end up as?
No, I wanted to be an air hostess.
It's not too late. We just revived our airline. Come on, Sharon.
Uganda Airlines.
Well, I know.
Do you
nothing to
know
with the
someone?
CNN.
Yes, Yes, so great. That's what I wanted to be.
Why?
When I was younger, I used to admire them because we used to see them on TV. Anyway, those were the people that we would see on the black and white TV. So you'd see them in a movie, one of those programs. I'd be like, that's the life. Just be there in the air, flying
from destination A to B and all.
Yeah, but I guess God figured I would still fly in my own ways because I'm flying. I'm flying and
really
with
high.
what I'm doing. So he made sure, like I said in the other song, everything somehow
works
worked
out somehow.
Yes. So that's what I wanted
So you can
to be.
fly but remain on the ground.
You can fly in life,
Exactly.
Yes. So that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be an air hostess.
At what point did that dream start drifting away from the reality of what you are becoming?
I think when I reached like S1, and then
You
all
took
these
it on
subjects.
for
I took it
that
for
long,
some
yeah?
time. Yeah. Then we got to S1. Then there were 16 subjects.
Including
Then I was like,
and not limited to physics.
Yeah, physics, Uganda. I was like, okay, maybe not. Start
Maybe then.
dreaming about some other things.
And what was that now?
And then at that time, I dreamt of becoming. What was that dream at that time? I just wanted a job at that time. By the way.
Any job?
Yes, I was like, just to work hard. The person I knew who worked really hard was my father, a sales guy. He was a sales guy. So I was like, be a saleswoman. Yeah, as long as you're selling.
Selling something.
Yes, just sell
That
something.
seems to be getting closer to what you
To what I eventually started. Yes, so I can't say that I'm not those people that I dreamt of being an engineer because math I struggled. So engineering was out of the question.
Like you
Architecture.
struggled even the very basics of counting your fingers. I know friends who struggle with
Yeah,
this.
but if you did not have what was it?
A credit.
A credit, But I managed the credit. It was a distinction.
There was a
So
distinction as well.
There was
Exactly.
distinction, then there was credit. So I'd pull off the credits once in a while, fluke a distinction. But I knew that, you can.
This is not
Yeah,
my
when you
thing.
sit down, you're like, it's not my thing.
I may get in there, but
yeah,
not
I
quite.
mind. If I work hard, I'll pass. I won't get, an F9. So I knew engineering, architecture. That time it was very clear. If you couldn't do math, some things were.
Out of the way for you.
Yes,
True.
and for arts, there wasn't much. You were either
A lawyer.
a lawyer
And that's
or a
just
teacher.
about it.
And I wasn't going to be a lawyer because they used to say lawyers were liars. So
That hasn't changed.
where they say lawyers are not liars. In BNI, there's a lawyer that says all lawyers are not liars.
I'm
So
sure they must say they cannot in very muted sound.
yes, so that was it. So I knew I had to do something that wasn't the traditional science subject. So I saw my father. I love my father very, very much. He's one of my closest friends.
Why so? Let's even just pause right there. Why?
Why do I love my
Is it
father
the
very
usual
much?
stereotype of daughters and their daddies?
Yes. I don't know. My father was always easier. My mom was tougher when we were growing up. My dad was not tough at all.
He let everything go.
He did let everything go. Of course, he had it, but then he was not. He was easy to talk to, easy to negotiate. He was easy to have conversations with when it was a struggle. For PTA, I would always encourage my dad. No, you come to school.
Hey, not your mother.
not because I knew it would end up well.
Lucky man. For me, my father was the Supreme Court.
No.
Beyond him, there was no court of appeal.
Although he was the busier one, so many times it was my mom. Yes, so because of my mom, I had to work really hard. So I was like, that lady cannot come and find me not excelling.
kind of situation,
yes.
yes.
So I really worked hard. So I owe it to her because if each time it was my dad, I'm sure the story would have been different.
What do your children think about you now that you have your own?
Now that I have my own, I think my kids think I'm tough. They know that I'm tough, but they know that I'm fun as
Also
well.
easy to talk to.
Yes.
So you're a combination of
I'm
both your parents
yes,
on one.
Yes, yeah. So they are aware that I'm tough, but they know that we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of laughs, and we dance a lot. But when it's time for business, it's time for
Do you actually
business.
think you're tough? Let's now talk about you. Do you actually think you're tough? Especially those children.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm very lenient with them.
So they
Yes.
actually just,
I think compared to other people, I have some of some of my friends are the nicest moms. They're so easy, They let
and
their
then
kids
some
get out
are
with.
really as tough as nails. And you're like,
I
some
don't
not
think
as tough
I
as that.
have maybe only one. Maybe Shakira is the one that's as tough as
I
me.
hope you got permission to mention
She
that.
knows. Even
Hashem will come and give you a high five and say, "Mommy, you hit it right there."
I'm sure all my friends that are watching, I will say, yeah, she's the one that's that. That's the one that's
So
tough.
sometimes when you have children on display, do you like send them to Auntie Shakira to sort them out, or it stopped being raised by the village?
The
as it were?
village. No, my children are very disciplined. I would like to think. You can think one thing. You think that it's all is well at yours, and then they're like, you didn't see them when they came to my home. But I think that they're very nice. They're very nice and disciplined. So I don't worry about their discipline when they go out. Yes.
Senior one, tens of subjects are hit at you.
Yeah.
Your dream of being a hostess, laments.
Yeah.
Which school was this?
Kayaza High School.
I'm sure even just the school, even if there was one subject, they would have told you, we don't train air hostesses. I don't know. How did you make the choice for Gayaza? Was it your choice or your parents' choice?
All my
Be honest.
cousins, I had my cousins that were older than me, and all of them went to Gayaza High School. My aunties also went to Gayaza High School.
So it was a family tradition.
Yes, so
but then
it
a
was the
decent
school.
guy.
Yes, that was the school. Like I didn't know any other. That was the place.
Wow.
Yes, and of course you want to go where you know people because you hear all these horror stories about
Other
senior one.
schools,
So you're
yeah.
like, you know what? Let me go to the space where there are people that I know.
Let's play a next song.
Yes. My next song is taking me back to now that you talked about S1. There is a song that we used to like back then. It was by the Fujis. Do you remember the Fujis?
But of course.
Yes. So there's one which you say, we used to be number 10 or whatever. That's the
Gila.
lyric. So I hope you can find it.
We used to be
Yes.
number 10.
We used to-
I wonder why it never used to be number one. Like, it made us feel so good, those who are not always number one. At least there's another
they
number.
used to be number 10. I think then they came up to where they were.
Oh,
Yes, so
okay.
that's the moral of the story. So, yes, so that would be my next one. By the
Let's go
Fujis.
down
Yes.
memory lane and get down to 1994, there about 1995 track
Yes.
by the Fujis. Fujila, I guess that's a song. But we'll find it.
You will
as
find
we
it.
always
Yes, I
do.
know that was the line.
We used to be number
That's
and then
it.
we'll be right back.
Desert Island Discs.
We used to be number 10. Now we permanent at one. In the battle, lost my finger. Mike became my arm. Also, it's nasal. Blood becomes warm. Tell her, come on, baby.
Well, Sharon Tumusiime sharing with us her life story. Author, businesswoman, parent. She does everything. I mean, what don't you do? I mean, that's, I think, the easier, getting point. Sharon, what don't you do? That's legal.
Wow, Simon, what don't I do? Well, I'm not an architect. I don't draw buildings.
Yeah, but at
And
least
then design
I've
stuff.
seen you with a tape measure.
Yes.
And for me, that was the first time I saw a lady
Yeah.
this way with a tape measure.
Yes.
And you directed a few things here and then. Before I knew it,
Yes.
there was furniture.
Yeah.
That, for the most part, is a role that, with the societal stereotypes that we hold, a preserve of men. How are you able to break into some of these trades that you do that ordinarily would be seen as the man's module?
Yeah.
More so coming from Gaza High School.
Yeah.
Let's not forget.
So growing up, we were raised in a way that there was nothing like boys and girls at home.
Oh, really?
Yeah, although there were boys and there were girls, all of us, it was the
Did
same.
everything.
Yes, if it was time for punishment, everyone that messed up, you got the same portion.
Cooking?
Cooking, everybody cooked. My brothers cook better than I do, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's incredible.
For the longest time, my brothers made me breakfast. Hey, guys, thank you.
Or maybe it was the case of we love our food, so the only assured way of it, we enjoy our food is by cooking it ourselves. You know how we boys be. We want to have the lion's share. The first when you're cooking, there are a few packs here.
So
That they will answer themselves. When
they will
they sit
answer
there.
the next time we see them. Yes, so I think that's what it is. So for me, there's never been a limitation that this is a job for a man, this is a job for a woman. So it has never occurred to me, even in carpentry, until people started telling me that, oh, how are you in this thing? It's a man's, and I'm like, oh yeah, it is actually. Yes, but then there are so many women that are into the carpentry business, by the
You
way.
say so many.
Yes, they are. They are.
My
The
levels of
timber business,
ignorance,
there's so many timber distributors that are women. There are so many women in it, by the way. It's just that you don't see them often.
How do you
But they're
feel when you are in this trade and there are people looking at you with raised eyebrows and asking such questions that for the most part may border on chauvinism or even just being simply, condescending sometimes?
Yes. Well, I think it has worked to my advantage.
Or has it?
Yes, because when you're like, oh, you're a female carpenter, it means we can trust you. So it's worked really well.
Considering the word trust and carpentry, water and oil.
So it has worked in our favor. But honestly, I don't think about it too much. They are genuinely surprised. So I'm not going to judge them for thinking the same way, for thinking in such a way. But but when you go to buy some of these things that we use, when you go to Ndeba to buy timber or whatever, the guys there don't care. whether you're a man or a woman. Are you paying? That's it. So that has been a lot easier. That's the space I would have expected to find challenges. But no, those are the guys that really can't be bothered. Just pay. Do you need your product? Get it and leave. Yes.
Wow, that's a very interesting. So let's go back to guys at high school. You get in there, senior one, find your cousins. I mean, it's almost familiar territory. You go through the rigors, but like any other person joining a new school for the first time, there's always that, tinge of discomfort or maybe anxiety, especially so that you had never left home, away to be on your own. Take us back to the best of your recollection. What it was like for you, first day in boarding school?
First day in boarding school, I was excited because you had gotten your first choice. Remember, there was that whole first choice, second choice.
And it came with the freedom that comes with it.
Yes, so first choice. So you finally in this space, I have some of the most brilliant cousins, they're very bright girls. And so for me to arrive where they were, it was like, I'm arriving, I've made it finally to this space. So, but then we were I was a bit uncomfortable meeting new people. I'm a very shy person. So meeting, yes, I am.
Those who know you and listening to you say you're very...
So of course we were a bit...
Sharon just redefined the word shy, but let's proceed.
So we were all there. And the thing is that the way Gayaza is set up, you're all in one room. You're all in one big room, you're senior ones, but they give you a senior 2 student who they have trained and prepared to receive this senior 1 student. They have already told them, you know what you felt, so how are you going to treat this one? Yes. So because of that, it gave a really, really soft landing. Wow. So when you arrive, they lay your bed for you, they basically babysit you. So that feeling wasn't there. The only shocking bit I remember was when we had to wake up to go to the farm at 6 a.m. on Monday. So we arrived on a Saturday. We arrived on a Saturday. First thing, 6 a.m. They're like, okay, it's your class going to farm. So it's you guys. So that was a shocking thing. I don't even know why we were shocked, because on the shopping list was a hoe. I don't know why we thought that hoe was... I don't know why I was shocked, because I carried a hoe. I came with a hoe.
Complete with it.
Yes. So I don't, in hindsight, I don't know why we were shocked, because that's why we carried them.
Have you ever used the hoe anyway?
No, I had never. I had never in the flat one, on the tarmac. No, we had never used hoes. So it was to
the farm.
Yes.
With a hoe.
We went to the farm. It's dark. It's 6 a.m. You're all in gumboots. Some people have bought gumboots that don't fit them. It was something else.
Were yours fitting?
Mine fit. Yes, mine fit. My father was a salesman, so
he knew.
He made sure he got me sorted.
So
quite nicely.
Monday by around 3 p.m., I'm sure you must have had blisters right in the
by the end of the week, some people did. Some people did. I didn't.
You had God.
I was Michigan. So it was shocking. Meanwhile, it was a very short little thing that they gave us. And immediately we all went and started writing letters. Can you imagine? We are digging. It was so dramatic. Horror stories back home. Yes, and when you're done digging, then you come back and then there's housework to do in the dormitory. There were no workers in Gayaza to do all your cleaning and what. So after you're done digging, there's a bit of housework. That one was easy. We always did housework at home. So that was chop, have breakfast and get to class. Shower, breakfast, go to class. So that was only shocking part. 6 a.m.
Farm.
To the farm, yes.
The meals?
The meals were really good. Guys have cooked really good food. Wow. Yeah, better than most people have in their homes, I suspect.
I don't sound like this hater, but I'm sure in Gaza they also train you that when you step out of Gaza, please be kind enough to speak kindly about this. Don't just go around.
No, it's true.
I know folks whose their schools, their chicken was thrown into the saucepan complete with its feathers and then cooked, and the feathers float. They remove them with a rake. But when they're out here, they say, no, the chicken was...
Not Gaza. Gaza was extremely organized. They really, that school, I can't complain about the meals. They
Were
took
you
care of
ever
that.
involved in anything mischievous by the Gaza? Please don't say no. Tell the truth. And if so, what was it exactly? Were you seen climbing the tree? I mean, the crimes in Gaza were like that. Yeah, she was seen swinging on a tree branch.
Let me see. What was it? What was some of the biggest things we were caught for? Speaking after lights out. It wasn't right.
That was a crime.
It was a crime to speak after lights out. Cutting, night prep.
Like, where would you be?
in the dormitory, just there,
At least they were lucky that you were in the dormitory. In some of the schools we went to, cutting night prep meant you're neither at home, you're neither at school, nor at school.
Not Gayaza. Yes, so it was cutting night prep. Those were some of the things. There wasn't much room for a lot of mischief in Gayaza. It was just that cutting housework, not showing up. That's about it. Not that I did that one. That one I didn't have a problem with housework, but cutting night prep, yeah, I did that.
And of course,
speaking after lights out, yeah,
that one
I did. Yes, yeah. I had the best roommates. We would just laugh all night. It was crazy.
So then, who reported you? The guys in the next room?
No, we had a headmistress, Mrs. Salary. Yeah, and she would walk around, yes, in the evening just to make sure. And her voice, she would. I loved her. I loved her so much. And when she would speak, you would just feel, the life leave you. You're like, oh my,
Take me, Lord.
Take me, Lord. Now is a good time. Yes, but it was really, yeah. That was about it. There wasn't much mischief you'd get up to. I don't know now, but then there wasn't much.
Extracurricular activities
at Gayaza High
for you.
Gayaza made sure you had them. There was dancing. We had to dance in the evenings. We'd learn Scottish dancing.
Okay, not like a Magbunjos and these local.
Yes, Scottish. And then we would do badminton. There was music. Yeah, I think that's about it. I didn't participate in much of those. I'm not much of a musician, so I really wasn't that. I would play a bit of badminton, but I preferred to just sit in the dormitory and just catch up and talk.
That's a good sport, ask me.
Yes,
and a living from it.
So I'm not going to say we did much. I don't know. No, I didn't.
6 years, 4 years.
6.
Woo.
Yeah, 6.
Okay.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah. It's like a lifetime in one place.
Yeah, 6 beautiful years. So good years.
So Sharon, you exit Gayaza with the hope of being what now? Saleswoman still?
No. I decided to do social work and social administration. So as we leave S4, and then you get to S6, there's career guidance. Someone came and talked to us and told us about all the
problems in the world
that you could do. And then, social work came up. I found out what social workers do.
What struck you so much about that, social work?
It was, as you can hear, it was about the society, making life a lot better for those that are around you. Really, it was that, just adding value.
Good, like internal, like in you, do you really feel that, the weight of the problems of the world should rest upon your shoulders and you go out there to make people feel good about themselves? Or again, you were looking for a job, a good job when you're out of school?
No, it sounded really, really like a nice place to be, to add value, because it was mainly about communities, the less advantaged ones, helping children. So immediately I thought about orphans. That's what I thought when the person was speaking. I was like, okay, those are orphans, those are the disabled, those that are, disturbed, mentally unstable. And our neighbor used to work in Butabika Hospital, and we had gone to see her. So
at her workplace?
Yes, we had gone to see her at her workplace when we were growing up. So for me, it was
normal
that.
visit, or it was your parents trying to instill in you the fear?
No, actually, we had a sleepover at home. So we had a neighbor who moved, but her children had become our friends, and she was my mom's friend. So when they moved to and got a space in Butabika Hospital, her mom was a nurse. My friends' mom was a nurse. So we were like, we miss them, we want to go. So my mom allowed us for a sleepover in Butabika Hospital.
So all the guys in the green uniforms?
Yes, so they told us everything about them, so we came to learn about them. So by the time this person is telling us, and they're doing this career guidance, and they're talking about all these things you can do
you
on campus.
You have seen the worst of mental health?
I have seen, yes, I've seen mental health. I've seen my aunt. She was, okay, we used to call them our aunties.
Everyone was
that your parents' friend was your aunt.
Uncle, yeah.
Yes, so my aunt, I had seen her taking care, and she was a very nice person. She was very nice with a very good heart.
That's the place I want to be.
I was like, yeah, I want to be like her, taking care of those that are less fortunate. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So into the university you were?
Yes.
Which university is this again?
Makerere University, Kampala.
Finally, you have freedom that you'd never had ever had in your life. You were away from your parents. You're not within Kisare's dictatorship. Now you.
Kisare is safety. It was safer
safety,
there.
I think dictatorship. You're now broken all the chains of bondage.
Yes, no, but when you're in HSC in Gayaza, by the way, it's not the same experience.
Really?
They treat you like you're grown-ups. You're responsible, so they don't hold you like that. If you go to the headmistress and say, I need to go home, they really know that you can't be lying. You definitely need to go home.
And out you
They'll
go.
give you a pass slip. So they really trusted you. I guess to prepare you for what's out there, you need to start trusting them to do some of these things. Yeah.
Talking about what's out there, so you find yourself at the university. Of course, it's also there's more than what you actually expect. The freedom, yes, but there's also the party that never stops if you choose that path. So when you got in there, what was it like for you? I'm sure you were at this, not just Y junction, you were at a junction with so many roads taking you anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I had grown up in a Christian home, and I was born again in P5 or P6. So I knew the Lord and I knew what He expected of me. So my life at the university was
The straight and narrow.
straight and narrow to a large extent. I don't want to lie that, oh yeah, I was the holy one. No, but I think it helped to protect me, to stop me from going really astray. You know, I thank God for that. So it helped to shape my morals or my values at that time.
And every once in a while when you slipped, you quickly beat yourself back onto the
Yeah, it was always there at the back of my head that this is not where we should be. Yes,
exactly.
yes, this is not what we should be doing. So it was very clear to me. Yes, it was very clear to me. So I'm thankful that I had that as to form a value system for me. So going there, it wasn't the same experience as those that are, we hear otherwise, unfortunately. But I was lucky that that I knew Jesus really at an early age. Yes.
And the faith was untampered with in those 3 years you're at the university.
Untampered with.
Yeah, I choose to use those words just for you to get out of my noose of these questions.
Yes.
Sometimes they can be a bit hard.
Well, because I wasn't planted, there's something called planting. When something is planted, its roots are firm. So I really had shallow roots, really. So every once in a while, the wind blows you and you go. But then when the wind stops, you sort of stabilize. So really, that was my life. That was my life.
I need to understand more about this life, especially through the next trace of music. So what will be your next song? That will give me an indication of where you spend much of your Friday evenings.
Well, my next choice of music, let me try and remember what was really at campus. It was a lot of TGIF. That was a lot of what we were doing at that time. But I think the song that I would choose that I remember is probably when we were out of campus just a little bit. There was the song by Pitbull, I think Everything or something like that. Yeah, it was such a hit at that time, yes. So that would be the next one.
I can see you've really smuggled yourself out of the university, really not tell your full life story, but
you can take me back. But since you wanted a song, that's the song that I can remember. I can't remember what song was such a hit. That's how fickle they were. I can't even remember them at this point.
Everything was a hit, so you don't have to bombard us with so many songs.
I'd probably have to give you like Rukunde Gumeo. It was such a hit at that time.
Sharon Tumusiime sharing with us her life story. It was a very interesting song that takes her back in time, especially with the years shortly after her university stint. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Desert Island Discs.
Grab somebody sexy, tell them, hey, give me everything tonight. Give me everything tonight.
So you get out of university, and do you have any prospect for a job, or were you already with one while at the university like many people did, the lucky ones, or you just hit the streets like many of us?
I would like to say that God was with me, really. It was an opportunity.
He's never left you, that guy.
That's what he said. Right, Simon, I'm impressed, yes, that you know that verse. He said he would never leave us or forsake us.
Even the dead clock, he's correct twice. So, have those moments of extreme brilliance.
Yes, so he was really with me. I count myself really fortunate that I had a job by the time I left.
What job? Who was that took that leap of faith to employ you?
There were these corporate organizations that come looking for graduate trainers, trainees. Yes, so there was one called Mask. It's a shipping company. A shipping company. So at that time, I was doing an internship somewhere, and a friend of mine tells me there is this company that is doing interviews for. She didn't even tell me about the graduate training program. I found out when I got to the interview, but she said they're recruiting people to give them jobs. I said, where do I sign up? I said, we have to show up at a certain place and do a test and find out. I remember I had a kuhinjira for a cousin of mine, and I told her, you know what, I can't miss because of family. And she said, no, you have to show up for this one. Find a way and show up. So she insisted, and I managed to go for the interview, and that's how I got my first job.
And so you forfeited.
No,
the
I
family
attended
engagement?
both.
How were you able to be in two places at the same time, Sharon?
The function was here in the city. Yes.
So you decided to go late.
I went briefly. I showed face, helped them set up tents and whatnot to the interview, finished the interview.
Came back. The interview guys must have said, man, if this is how she looks like on an ordinary day, not knowing that you had put up all the makeup to go
To go for the
late.
function. Yes. So
What job
that's
was
how.
this?
It was a cashier. I was a
Ooh,
cashier.
you're touching
yes.
a dime.
Yes, it was.
Must have been very exciting. That means you had loose change in you, no bothering your parents for this and the other.
I was just happy to have a job. And yes, I was not at that. I immediately started to take care of myself from that.
But that
point
also
on.
meant you had to, multitask between completing your education and working at this job.
No. That
It was
internship
shortly
was the last one, or the one you do in
okay.
third year. Yes. So we were more or less done. So we're getting ready for graduation. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting looking at things. But now, how long were you at that job?
Oh, I worked there for the next 12 years of my life.
What?
Mhm.
There must have been incredible employers, or maybe you were
They
in
are.
the
They
A
are.
game.
They are. But that too. No, I was. I think because of my parents and the way we were brought up, you've seen someone work more or less the same job for the longest time. So I stayed there, and there was room for growth. They always promised that if you work hard, you will grow. And growing, I did.
Wow.
I even got an opportunity to be cross-posted in Mombasa. I worked in Mombasa in the port for about a year.
Wow.
Yes, so there were growth opportunities. So you didn't feel that you were there for 12 years because each year,
Had its different
yes, a
challenges,
different
had
challenge,
the
a different role.
exposures, huh?
Yes. So I managed to go through, and it was a great time. Lots of experience that has led me to where I am today. Yes.
Back to the book.
Yes.
The tribute is to your child.
Yes.
At what point you begin to make children? Because you're now a proud parent.
That was about 2006 is when
Were you still at the university, out of the university?
I'm now working.
Mhm.
I'm now working. I'm not married, and voila.
The children come in.
Yes, I have my
Then
son.
you begin the ultimate multitasking,
Yes.
raising children, working at a job,
Yeah.
and everything in between. How did that come out for you? Or you were still relying on the experiences from mommy and daddy? They raised us, they were working so high to
We should be able to do it. True, we never thought about it. But when you're working, you don't think about it. You're just going through the motions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, you're going through the motions and making sure you balance here and show up on this side as well. Yes, so that's how we manage to balance it out. You know that you have to be on this side and you have to pull it off on this side
Let's
as well.
not gloss over this
Yes.
whole parenting thing, Sharon. Let's get down to a typically bad day for a parent. You're at work and the phone rings, and this guy has possibly fallen down the stairs, or he's threatening to swallow a coin, or he's running a temperature, and you have to go and rescue them, and possibly you don't even have a car at the moment, or it's high traffic moment. At that point, just take us back to what has been some of the most scary moments you've had as a working man.
You speak about that, and I'm reminded of my son. There's a time I actually got one of those phone calls, and the nanny is telling me, and she's saying it in Luganda, and she's saying that his name is LJ, and she's saying LJ's head has burst open.
Huh?
In Luganda, so
LJ Gwabisi.
Gwabise, exactly, that's what she says, and she's crying, and I'm not hearing the child crying, I'm just hearing the maid. I'm like, today is the day.
The guy has closed, he's not
Yes.
crying, it's now the maid.
Yeah. So I tell my friend, I used to work with a friend of mine, and we immediately call another friend of ours that is a doctor. So she asks us to talk to the maid again, ask her exactly what is happening. So I call her and she tells us what's happening. So the question is he speaking? That's just confirmation that that's the best way to help a nanny say he's alive. She's like, yes, he's speaking, but there's so much blood and stuff. So my friend tells us, tell her to apply a lot of pressure on that wound as you find your way to get home and take him to the hospital. And at this time, we were supposed to travel in 2 days. We were supposed to travel to visit my cousin in Namibia. Yes. So I'm trying to wrap up at work, and now we have this disaster. Yes. But we were very blessed to have very good managers we had very good relationship with our managers. So they would understand. It wasn't the bosses that would say, you have this to do it. And because you've been working hard and you've been faithful at your place of work, when you say, I need to go, it would have to be the meanest person to say, No, you stay. Yes, but if you've been slacking, you're the one that doesn't show up.
I
They'll be
said,
like,
"Oh, there you go
again,
again."
no, please. Yes. So I guess they knew that there's no way she's telling a lie. So immediately I said, my son is in trouble. I need to go home. I said, no, you go. So I rush and drive home. Luckily enough, there was no traffic. Or there was, I don't know. You know, at that state, I can't remember much. It was just to get home. So I get home and I find him indeed. By then the blood has stopped gushing. It was a cut across his head. So he had fallen and something cut him. To this day, we don't know what it was.
What?
Because even he doesn't remember.
But at least what's for sure is that the head didn't explode.
Exactly.
You know,
so he
he's a
fell
man.
down. But he's really little. So what he's saying and what she's saying are sort of not correlating. So we immediately rush him to the surgery. Thank God for my place of work, we had medical cover.
Exactly.
These are some of the things we don't appreciate with our employers. And there was medical cover, and they were able to stitch him. And he was really perfect. And for him, once he saw, we traveled. We did have to travel, yes. So we asked the doctor. I said, no, it's okay. It's just a cut. It's not deep. It's not that deep. Yeah, and we were able to travel. So I saw him as soon as he saw his mother.
That was okay.
That was it.
Help was already there.
Help was already there, and that's the beauty of the mom. And so I drove him to the hospital, and everyone kept looking, and I was like, because it was really a wide one, yeah? And they were able to help him. But those were some of the times that you realize that, what am I doing? The worst could have happened.
Wow.
Yes.
So Sharon, you have a very understanding employer, taking you through what many would consider very generous, journey of employment. And then you make that decision to go into self-employment.
Yes.
Because the last I checked, that company is still operating here.
Yes, it is.
And you are into self-employment. At what point did you make that flip, and why?
So I was working on a project at that time, and the project came to an end. Suddenly. It was a project that had something to do with the Ugandan government and stuff. So the project suddenly ended. And so when it ends, I'm given another job. But this job was a sales job. And I felt like I was working backwards. I was like, I'd leave this job for those people. You've done your time here. It's time to move on. And at that time I was doing...
You had the colossus of a sales.
Yes. But at that time I had the side hustle. I had the children's tour company, and I had the carpentry business running.
So let's pause right there and ask ourselves again, going backwards, what motivated you to start the side hustle?
The side hustle.
Many of us are always running into this, whirlwind of employment and never think of side hustle. More so at the time you say think of the side hustle, now it looks to be the fashionable thing to do.
Yes.
But then when you started yours, there needed to have been some huge motivation. What was it?
For the longest time, I was always doing side hustles. For the whole time I was working, there was always
Sharon,
something going on.
busy girl, always.
Yeah, there was a time I was a money lender. So I always had this
You were
side.
a money lender?
I was lending money.
Okay,
Well, illegal, not the real one.
Okay,
I
on the
wasn't
scale of
registered.
0 to 10, where 0 is no defaulters, 10 is defaulters, where would you rate your business acumen in that regard?
I had no defaulters until one big one who
Said
closed
you.
the business.
But then there's something they say about money lenders. You must have such a hard heart.
Yes. You did. That's why I realized I can't do it. Because up to now, they've not paid me. But I realized this is not yours. You don't have the heart to lend money.
You couldn't hold on to a marital home land title.
And people are crying,
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
get out. No, I couldn't. That's not where God wanted
So
me
I
to
got
be.
into this children's tour thing.
So this
And
children's
carpentry.
tour thing, that time my son went for a tour at school. So he goes for a tour. So I asked him, how was the tour? We had paid for the tour. And he was like, it was okay, but I didn't see anything. I'm like, why didn't you see anything? And he's like, we were so many. So he couldn't see whatever was happening at the tour. I was like,
Mommy.
what is this? What are we paying for? And that's where the dream started. I was like, I'm going to start something.
But it must have reminded you of your school tours as well, because
Our
we were
school-
always crammed in
But
like
our
sardines.
school tours, we didn't mind. It was a day
was
off.
fun.
Yeah, it
But
was
yeah,
fun.
just because they
You
never
get
asked
pocket
you.
money. But I think my son
but they
didn't
never
enjoy
asked you what you
I
saw.
learned. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, this is unacceptable. We should be able. These children should be. We can't pay money, and you're a parent, and you're like, this is
Value
unacceptable.
for money.
Yes.
You're
that
looking
whole
for value
speech.
for money. How can I afford it?
So I'm talking to a friend of mine, and I tell her about it, and she's like, you know what? Why don't we start a business where we take children on tours? I'm like, yeah.
Give them VIP treatment.
Yes, take a few of them, make sure they learn. There's so much they don't know. you know, when you're together and you
When the
you
vibe
have
is
it,
going right.
yes, yeah. And that's where the tour company starts from, the children's educational tours, which is the you know, the backbone of the book.
And parents,
Yes.
just like you trusted you with their children.
Yes, of course,
and
we started with our friends. Like
your
through
own children who had
messages, my
missed.
children, you know, my friends' children. Those are the first people that trust you.
Exactly.
And then they also tell their friends. Now, my friends. So once their friend tells a friend, the referral thing. If you trust them, I trust them. If you're sending yours, I can send mine.
So who broke your chairs for you to get into the carpentry business? Because now it looks like every side hustle has to come with a motivation.
The carpentry business, I needed to make a playhouse for my daughter. And I'm here working, and I go to check in the stores. She wanted a playhouse, and the stores are telling me, I don't know, 1 million. Was it 700,000 or 1 million? I'm like,
For an already
I
made.
made one, an imported one. I'm like, this child is going to. I'm like, can I spend 700? I think it was 700 or 1 million. I don't know, between 7 and 1 million. I'm like, that's too much money. So I go on YouTube. When I go on YouTube, I see them making a playhouse from pallets. I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, shipping. There are so many pallets here. Let me take this to a carpenter and let
tell
him
him
make me something. I mean, I brought him his
Don't
biggest raw material.
Tell me you
Yes.
are the brainchild behind this whole plate craze I see in Kampala.
It had already started. It had already started by then, but was mainly the
So being
experts
modest
that were
about it.
doing it. I'm not the brainchild. I would love
Because
to
man,
have been
everything
the
is being made out of
brainchild.
pellets, like glasses, what? You know, like.
No, I'm not the brainchild. But it was already being done. That DIY was happening, and online people were seeing these things, so they were trying it out. So I said, you know what, we shall make this
You get a
playhouse.
whole consignment of.
I take them to the guy, show him the YouTube video, and we go step by step. And that's how. And once we did it, there was a gentleman I used to work with at that time. His friends one of his friends was married to a white lady, an expatriate. So he shows the picture. And so immediately, because it was a trend for many of the expats,
Expatriates, yes.
that's how the first order came in. She was like, also make for me.
And you never looked back.
Yes, and that's how the
To date.
business started. Yeah. So it was from my need. I started with my thing, and I realized, you know what, there are many people.
So what are the
Let's go.
businesses now have you immediately picked up from your needs? Because it looks like every time you go for a good or service that doesn't quite
Yes.
hit your taste in terms of,
Yes.
you know, affordability or even just quality, then you go and make it yourself.
Imagine what you've taken from this.
So just in case this doesn't go right between you and I, and maybe I think I can interview people better than Simon. Then the next thing you'll have your own design.
My own
Go on, Sharon, come on, give us a break.
I know, that's what it looks like. I know.
In our spaces.
No, Simon. But yes, I've started other businesses. I recently started a program to mentor young people, to prepare them for the workplace. You know how we always complain. You know, but
They just taught us
they're
in
not
class.
ready. They are just here.
Or you
They
on the other
don't know.
side, yes, yeah.
You know, employers are always saying they're not ready. But who's making them get ready? So I started a program that supports graduates and people at the university to prepare them for the workplace, so that when they show up, they can do all these things you guys expect them to miraculously know.
Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, we think they have done this.
Exactly. And yet you've been at the university, you know there's nobody teaching that, but you sort of expect them to know. Yes.
Well,
that's a new venture I'm into. It's sort of like a mastermind series. Yes, that's another of them. And then together with a friend of mine, she pulled me on. She has a consultancy that does team building, that does change management. So I'm into, you know, performance.
So Sharon, your kind of self-employment is not so much in pursuit of money. That's what I read from you.
Yes.
You don't seem to be the kind of person that's moved by money. Not because I'm saying
Don't
you
say
look
that people
broke,
won't
but,
pay us when they watch
but it
this.
looks like you love to run hustles of things you love to do.
Yes, I do.
That's what makes you tick. In other words, you immerse yourself in a job
Yes,
and enjoy the
I
experience.
enjoy it. I like to enjoy what I'm doing. Yes,
Wow.
yeah.
Counting money is not the things. It's not one of the things you enjoy doing.
Well, they say if you find your passion and blend it with
Some money.
money, you have arrived. So that's what they always say. That's what the motivational speakers say.
I know.
Find something you enjoy. Make sure you package it.
They pay you for it.
They pay for it.
You're good
You've
to go.
arrived. Yes.
But I still
So
take
that's
you-
what's happening to me right now. I'm being paid for the
Lucky
things
lady.
I enjoy to do.
Before we play the next song, I want to still go back to that moment when you made that decision to quit your job.
Yeah.
Never mind, you had a nice and comfortable fallback position of a side hustle, a couple of them. But sometimes it's a painful decision to leave a workplace you've been at for a decade, friends that you have made right there, and the whole experience of certain things that you don't get now in your high side hustle. You talked about health insurance. You know, the idea that you can call in sick and still earn a full month's salary. Now you can't call in sick to a client if you are the proprietor of a business.
Yeah.
How were you able to do some change management yourself? One, to make that decision and go with it, and then staying the course. And be honest, if there are moments when you just closed your door on you and started crying because you missed your job, please share with us.
Yes. When I had just left, you know, when you're leaving, you know that this thing is going to work. You have the picture.
And it's perfect.
And it's perfect. And you're seeing the customers, you're seeing the money, like, this works. And so you leave and go out there. So when I left in 2018. That was my first day out of formal employment, was 2018, 1st of January. Remember, I sent my last email on the 31st of December as I walked out of the office.
Wow.
Yes. And I told everyone, bye, it's been real. I'm going out there to do my thing.
You go and work the magic. We'll meet on
yes,
the other side.
We'll see on the other side. And so I start. Now, 6 months into it, it is rough. I'm like, nobody told me it was rough. I had no idea.
2018, another global recession. But there was always recession. They don't have to be global, but
they were there. It was really, really, really tough. And I was really struggling. I was like, what did I just get myself into? I was considering actually going back into formal employment. But I'm very fortunate. Many of my friends had already started businesses. Many of them were self-employed or running successful businesses. So one day I am there in my bed. I don't want to get out of my bed. I'm like, today is the day I don't go to work, and that the day I apply for another job somewhere. And so one of my friends calls me. So he calls and he's like, how are things? I'm like, things are bad. Yes, things are bad. You guys didn't tell us, you know, because I'm like, why would you let us make such mistakes, you know? And so at that time, he invites me to join. He's like, why don't you come and check out BNI?
What's BNI?
BNI is Business Network International. It is a referral networking organization where people intentionally refer each other for business. It's for business owners. So you get in there, and if you open your networks to them, they open their networks to you. It's intentional, it's structured, and it works.
From the way you're describing it, two things.
Yes.
Either we will join you on this line, so this is a business, or we'll send you an invoice for the advert you've just placed on the program. So make your choice. But let's proceed.
Yes, so I go to this space, and that's where I meet other business people. So when I join that space, it is to learn how to do business.
But
Most
in that
people,
space, are people
yes,
talking about the struggles
they
and how
are
hard things
exactly.
are?
So you
or
meet
they
people
are
who have been
telling you
through.
how feathers are turned
Yes,
into
no.
multitudes of chickens.
It's real conversations where they tell you their challenges. Of course, some people have been in business for 15 years, so they have a wealth of
For
experience.
you, are just 6 months.
You know, I'm just 6 months into this side hustle being a real thing. And so they tell you everything. They guide you, they help you, they support you, and they refer you. Because the number one thing a businessman needs is business.
Exactly, nothing
It's
else.
business.
All this other cool
Yes,
that doesn't
exactly.
work.
Yes. So they get you the business, because crying out loud, no one knew me as a carpenter. What was I? A carpentry business owner. So where was I hoping to get all these customers from? So for me, that was a godsend through that friend of ours.
And since then, you haven't looked back. Things are going on.
It's tough. I'm not going to say, business is a walk in the park. It's tough, but it's totally worth it.
Being who you are, we know that places like those tough places is the place where you ride at your best.
Yes.
So let's play the next song, Sharon.
My next song is right in that alley. It's Gyra by Elevation and Maverick Music, and it talks about Jehovah Jireh being a provider. He's the one that's providing everything that we need, and a business owner. You see it very clearly. Some days you don't know how this customer walked in, but he had made sure it's working.
So whenever you walk into a shop or bump into a business and give them money for a good or service, believe you me, it's not by your own strength, but there is a force that drives you there. And this song speaks to that exactly.
Yes.
And we hope that, considerably, it continues to be a two-way thing, that, as the Lord Jehovah provides me to you, you better provide me the sons
Yes,
I need.
that's just what he expects of us.
Wow.
Yes, but we give because we are already blessed. He's already blessed us. We don't give to receive, but we give because we are blessed.
Wow,
Yes,
Sharon goes the
yeah.
line of preaching, and believe me, if we let her go
Yeah,
that direction before we play a song, this program won't end. So we'll be right back.
Desert Island Discs.
You would cross an ocean, so I wouldn't drown. You've never been closer than
Welcome
you
back
are.
from that musical break, and Sharon is still sharing with us her interesting life story. She's the lady of many colors, just like the quote that sang about in that beautiful song, Coat of Many Colors, that many parents love to play on this program. I hope that won't be your last song, Sharon.
A coat of many colors.
Many colors. But I normally know the conversation when it has that direction. I can already say, this one is about ask for that song. Their life story is slightly different from yours. So Sharon, let's get down to knowing you a little bit more.
Mm.
When was the last time you cried and why?
The last time I cried,
If at all.
yes.
Don't fake it here.
The last time I cried was recently when my son's team won gold.
Wow.
Yeah, they won gold for the country. So they went for basketball in Serbia. Yeah, and so when they went for basketball, they were playing and, and it was like, is it going to happen? Is Uganda actually going to be the champion? And they actually did succeed.
Why did you tell me I was seated in the midst of greatness? I mean, look, come on.
I raised the gold medalist.
I know, I mean, I was here, I'm speaking to a hapless businesswoman. What?
Yes.
That is epic.
So that's the time I can remember crying. I did.
So let me get
cry.
this right.
Yes.
When you get overwhelmed in a good way, when you see success in the most flower it gets, you get teary.
With my children. It's to do with my children.
Well, if the Uganda Cranes won gold, but none of the players is your child, you wouldn't.
I may not cry. I'll be very excited, but I won't cry. The things that bring me to tears is these things to do with my children very easily.
Wow, incredible.
Yes.
And what gives you a good hearty laugh? Well, you laugh all the time, but what's that?
And you know it. You know that I laugh all the time. What makes me laugh? A good joke, like people that are witty. I like to be in spaces where people are just cracking jokes and living life and at their happiest. So I can't say what moment it is, but usually when I'm with people, my friends, I will laugh out loud, really loudly. I laugh like my father. My father laughs out really loud.
You're truly your father's daughter.
Yes.
So I can imagine the combination of you and him seated in this room and just the two of you having conversation.
Yes.
You don't even talk, you just laugh at each other.
Yes. So if I'm among my friends, my family, with my cousins, I have a cousin that laughs louder than me. And so we laugh wherever
laughing
it's
family
safe
of
and
yours.
family and friends. Most of my friends are like family anyway. So I will laugh. I love a good laugh. Yes.
What about with regard to meals? What's your favorite dish? What meals do you love to have?
I love rice. I was talking about it this afternoon with somebody. I love rice. Anything that has rice is my thing. And I love chicken.
Earlier on, if I remember, you had dropped a few, your usual patriotic lines of I was in Muchiga. What became Muchiga? Rice? I was hoping to hear Irish potatoes at the most modern,
No,
or at the most raw.
I loved
And
Irish.
peeled
I loved
sweet
Irish potatoes.
potatoes.
But when we'd get to holidays, because we were kids, and those days there wasn't a lot of money in our family. So my mom would buy a sack of Irish potatoes and cooking oil. So we would eat chips and
chips.
and so I ate so much. Come on,
Now rice
yes.
is what
So now rice is a thing. Yes.
and chicken.
I love chicken as well in any form way, boiled, fried, grilled, alive. I like to see them running around, not to eat them, but yes, I like chicken and I like rice.
Do you eat their children? I'm talking about the eggs.
Don't say it like that. I'm a mother. You can't say that.
Now I have this funny joke that went around some time back that this guy must have been a Muchiga, went into a restaurant and he didn't quite know English and he wanted an egg. And then he couldn't, tell the waitress, I want an egg. But he saw someone eating chicken. So he says, so asked, what do you want? He said, the mother, pointing at the chicken, said, where it came from. But that aside, how do you wash down your favorite dish?
Oh, okay. I like to have I like tea. I like after eating, I like to have a cup of tea.
Like iced tea or
No,
like
no,
hot
no,
tea?
like real tea. I like tea. You know, it's surprising. I
Very
like
surprising. I
tea.
mean, considering that already I'm sweating from a meal, then you add a hot cup of tea. Sharon, you eat your rice cold?
Now, when I'm eating, I'm not drinking, but if I'm to drink, it would be water with some lemon in it.
Uh-huh.
Yes, yeah, that's. I know the washing down you mean, but no, I like to have a cup of tea after
Wow.
eating. I like tea. My daughter will tell you that she likes tea. Yes, I like to have tea.
Any alcohol in your body?
I take wine. I like wine, but I can't say that, you know, I'll
You
be,
can crave for it.
yeah, that I'll be like, where is that wine? No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sharon, you're a very complex person. But what gets you angry, though? And you'll understand why I had to first think about it. Because for how much you laugh, I can't imagine you being angry or sad. Although I know it's a natural thing.
It's a natural thing. Very easy if things make me angry. Disorganization, really. When people are disorganized. Yeah.
That's coming from a carpenter.
So I can imagine my frustration.
With a carpenter,
Yes,
the real
yes,
carpenter.
at my place of work. Yeah. Yes. So I don't like disorganization.
But that you've been there for some time, it means that
Yes.
somehow you're beginning to warm up.
I hope not. I don't like disorganization. Then I also don't like people that are quote unquote, you know, I don't want to say fake, but yeah,
Dishonest.
yeah, who are one thing and then, you know, you say one thing and you do another thing. Yes, I like people that are real.
Be bad and
Yes,
be unapologetic about it, and I know
yes,
that.
and then we know what we're dealing with and how to yes. But really, it's disorganization in every sense of the word. You know, you fail to keep time all the time. You know, you say you're going to be here, you don't show up, you don't communicate. You say you're going to do this and you don't. You know, those things really tick me off. Yes, we're supposed to be in this line, you form another.
You've spoken very loudly, Sharon. And please, let's keep it with your life story. I want to have this conversation with you 20 years down the road.
Yes, so those are the
literally
things.
down the road. I want to.
So those are some of the things that really yeah get me up.
Have you ever considered a vocation in politics, Sharon?
No.
And I'm glad you haven't asked me why I asked that question. So let me proceed with my line of conversation.
I was too direct with the answer.
Yeah. Why that stand firm, you know, like solid no?
Because I've never.
Why? You're a likable person. You speak and you get people listening in. At least I've heard you speak. You are one of the few non-celebrity MCs I know about. You know, people are not running gigs on radio or TV, but are trusted well enough to go and MC events. I have seen you MC at some events. That usually for me is like the direct, you know, rite of passage into politics. And I'm sure you speak an extra language from English.
Yeah.
So how come you don't consider that?
Because I believe there's different ways we can all add value to the spaces in which we are. Yes, and I feel like the journey of a politician to start to add value is such a long way, and yet you can do it readily without having to go that direction. The hustle that you go through to help people is just too much, but there's an easier way that's available for you to actually add value in the spaces that you
Clearly,
are.
you've become a business person, maximizing profit and minimizing loss. You don't want to give money out to voters and
Those are some of the things. I don't know how to do something like that, you know. I don't know how to do something like that. I don't know how successful I would be if I tried to do it. I'd be like, you know what I want to do for you? Why should I pay you to do this for you?
Get our returns
Yes.
here now in advance, not later.
Yes, so I believe there's so many ways we can add value, and everybody has the path that, you know, that God has called
Now
them
that the
for.
road of politics is closed out for you, so where do I
Yes.
see Sharon in the next maybe 10, 15, 50 years from now, from what you project yourself to want to be?
I see myself as a mentor in spaces where I can help girls, especially to raise up to a certain level of leadership. I see myself leading, but not in the political space, either at community level or leading in church, you know, where you're out teaching and bringing
Ministering,
healing to
you call it.
spaces, ministering. And yeah, those are the spaces I see myself. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. At that level. Yes. even in business space, you know, as a serious business person whose business is adding value in the space in which it is, in the community. So even as a business owner, I don't see my business as just one that makes money. It should be a business that makes the space in which it is a lot better. So that's where I look at. So when you see my business in the future, it will most likely be adding value in the community to a level that's a lot bigger than just me making money.
And doing all these sustainability or corporate social responsibility gigs and all sorts of things. So,
well, I don't want to refer to corporate social responsibility because it has its.
But you see, I'm not as for free bed. I was
you know how
there.
it is usually. You know, they say it's for the show and things like those, but really impacting the space in which we are and leaving it better than how we found it.
Wow.
Yes.
Sharon, as we get down to the conclusion of our conversation, which I must say has been very insightful.
Yes.
There's the you that now I know that I obviously never imagined I would have known after these last 45 minutes. But let's talk travel. This is a beautiful country that we're blessed with. You're narrowing down your scope of travel to our city. But my question is going to widen it for you and ask, where in this beautiful country would you, Sharon, love to just let your hair down and relax, or even get marooned for that matter? Where would that be? And why do you choose that place?
I would choose Kisoro. That's where I would like to go.
I must admit, lately, Kisoro is getting quite a bit of rev on the program.
Yes, yes. So I would choose Kisoro.
Why?
It's closest to home. It's near. It's very near to Kabale. And I feel like I haven't enjoyed it as much as I should, especially those are my roots. I'm Chiga, the people in Kisoro, very close to us. And I feel like I haven't explored it as much. The last time I went to Kisoro was maybe 15 years ago. So, yes. So I feel that
when the road was...
when it wasn't what it was, yes. When it was scary, where you'd hold your breath and pray that...
you still do now, but in A when you know, I'm just feeling good and all that.
Yes, so that's the place I would like to go and just relax. And it's beautiful. Yes, it's beautiful.
Sharon,
and the pictures that I've seen...
You want to go there and take more of those?
Yes.
Sharon Tumusiime, it's been a pleasure having you on the program.
Yes.
Sharing with us your life story has not only been enlightening, but also has given us a moment to have some good banter, reflect more on our own lives, but even more, and I'm sure, without a shadow of doubt, that hundreds, perhaps even thousands of young girls have been inspired. And of course, many children are wishing they had a mom like you as opposed to the moms they have. Even more importantly, this beautiful book of yours, I'll certainly take a read of it, and as much as I've walked the 7 hills with my feet, it was nice that someone, 10-year-old, could narrate their own, adventure around them through their own eyes. For you, our listeners, it's always a pleasure, and the viewers, being with us on the program. You could have been doing anything else, but you stay on here and listen to these incredible life stories from ordinary folks like Sharon, but with extraordinary life stories. We'll be back same time, same place next Sunday with yet another incredible story. Sharon, you can't just leave the program without playing us that beautiful last song.
Yes. My beautiful last song is, I don't know if many of you know it, but it is by our amazing pastor, Apostle Moses Mukisa. And it is about, the lyrics about giving glory to the King, because at the end of the day, that's what we were created for. So I can't live without, it's one of my favorite of his. Yes.
I must admit, this is the first time I'm listening to this song. I'm hearing it.
Yes.
And again, you always learn new things, not at least when you have Sharon in your midst. So let's conclude our Sunday conversation with that beautiful song coming in from Sharon's Apostle, Pastor
Moses Mukisa.
Moses Mukisa.
Yes.
See ya.
Desert Island Discs. Desert Island Discs.
So that's where I look at. So when you see my business in the future, it will most likely be adding value in the community to a level that's a lot bigger than just me making money.
And doing all these sustainability or corporate social responsibility gigs and all sorts of things. So,
well, I don't want to refer to corporate social responsibility because it has its...
But you see, I'm not as for free bed.
You know how it is. Usually, they say it's for the show and things like that.
Desert Island Discs.